Korean Comparatives and Superlatives.
더, 보다, 가장 제일 소스, howtostudykorean.com.
Below is a list of vocabularies to be used in this lesson. Nouns.
한식,
Korean food.
양식.
Western food.
키 이퀄 헤이트 별 이퀄 스타 태도 이퀄 레티투드 월급 이퀄.
Paycheck.
도심 이퀄 다운타운 시내 이퀄 다운타운 추억 이퀄 메모리 후보자 이퀄 캔더데이트 라면 이퀄.
Instant noodles, ramen.
주년 이퀄 애너버서리 자세 이퀄.
Body position posture. Verbs.
걱정하다.
To worry.
식다.
To wash.
확인하다.
To confirm. To check.
모으다.
To gather. To collect.
이야기하다.
To talk with. To have a conversation.
수집하다.
To collect.
추천하다.
To recommend. Adjectives.
키가 크다.
To be tall.
좁다.
To be narrow.
넓다.
To be wide.
특별하다.
To be special.
게으르다.
To be lazy.
편하다.
To be comfortable.
안락하다.
To be comfortable. Adverbs and other words.
더 이퀄 모어 덜 이퀄 레스 가장 이퀄.
The most. Superlative.
제일.
The most. Superlative.
앞으로, 퓨처 평소, 유주얼 여러.
Many various.
옛 이퀄.
Something old.
옛 추억.
Old memories.
옛날.
Old days.
옛사랑.
Old love.
옛길.
Old road path.
닥쳐.
Shut up. Introduction. In this lesson, you will learn how to make comparative and superlative sentences in Korean. Using comparative sentences, you will learn how to make sentences like I am more beautiful than you or he is faster than his brother. Using superlative sentences, you will learn how to make sentences like I am the most handsome person in the world. In addition, we will take an in-depth look at the word
더.
which is commonly used in comparative sentences. Let's get started. Korean word.
더.
More. Before we even get into using comparatives, I want to familiarize you with the word.
더.
Meaning more in English. The word more, in English and Korean, is very commonly used in sentences when comparing things. I am more handsome than you. But, in both languages, you don't necessarily need to be comparing something to use this word. Let's look at some examples of
더.
when not comparing. Look at the following two sentences.
더.
Is an adverb, so it doesn't need any particles attached to it.
저는 밥을 먹고 싶어요.
I want to eat.
나는 자고 싶어.
I want to sleep. Those are normal sentences without.
더.
By adding,
더.
you add the meaning of more.
저는 밥을 더 먹고 싶어요.
I want to eat more.
나는 더 자고 싶어.
I want to sleep more. You can add
더.
to a wide variety of sentences, including sentences with counters in them.
저의 여동생은 지난주에 책 2권을 읽었어요.
My sister read 2 books last week.
저의 여동생은 지난주에 책 2권을 더 읽었어요.
My sister read 2 more books last week.
사람 2명은 올 거예요.
2 people will come.
사람 2명은 더 올 거예요.
2 more people will come.
나는 펜 2개가 있어.
I have 2 pens.
나는 펜 2개가 더 있어.
I have 2 more pens. Also in sentences with the counter.
번.
In them.
나는 어제 학교에 2번 갔어.
I went to school 2 times, twice, yesterday.
나는 어제 학교에 2번 더 갔어.
I went to school 2 more times yesterday. You can also use
더.
in sentences with verbs if you also include an adverb.
나는 열심히 공부했어.
I studied hard.
나는 더 열심히 공부했어.
I studied harder, or without an adverb if you just want to say that you did a verb more.
나는 공부했어.
I studied.
나는 공부를 더 했어.
I studied more in these cases. The adverb
많이.
can also be included.
나는 공부를 더 많이 했어.
I studied more. In a lot of cases, though, the word
더.
is used in comparative sentences with.
보다.
Now that you know a little bit about,
더.
let's look at how to use these two together. Full stop.
Coréen comparative.
보다,
Though you can use
더,
in sentences when not comparing, as taught in the previous section. It is very commonly used in sentences when comparing. In English, comparing is really hard and confusing. Look at these examples. It is hotter than yesterday. It is more beautiful than yesterday. It is smellier than yesterday. In English, depending on the word that you are using to compare, the conjugation is different. I can't imagine how annoying this would be for an English learner. Luckily, comparatives in Korean are all done using the exact same form every time. All you need to do is add a particle
보다,
to the part of the sentence that is being compared to. Let's look at it step by step.
나는 잘생겼어.
I am handsome. Notice here the example.
잘생기다,
Handsome is conjugated into the past tense when conjugating,
잘생기다,
and
못생기다.
it is always more natural to use the past tense conjugation.
나는 더 잘생겼어.
I am more handsome to indicate that you are more handsome than somebody. You just insert a person plus
보다,
in the sentence. For example,
나는 아버지보다 더 잘생겼어.
I am more handsome than my father. More examples.
선생님들은 더 똑똑해요.
Teachers are smarter.
선생님들은 학생들보다 더 똑똑해요.
Teachers are smarter than students.
한식은 더 매워.
Korean food is spicier.
한식은 양식보다 더 매워.
Korean food is spicier than Western food.
오늘은 더 더워.
Today is hotter.
오늘은 어제보다 더 더워.
Today is hotter than yesterday.
저는 키가 더 커요.
I am taller.
저는 남동생보다 키가 더 커요.
I am taller than my brother. You can use
보다.
with verbs as well.
나는 밥을 더 먹었어.
I ate more.
나는 남동생보다 밥을 더 먹었어.
I ate more than my brother.
나는 어제보다 밥을 더 먹었어.
I ate more than yesterday. If you really want to get crazy, you can use counters in these sentences as well.
나는 내일 사람 2명을 만날 거야.
I will meet 2 people tomorrow.
나는 내일 사람 2명을 더 만날 거야.
I will meet 2 more people tomorrow.
나는 내일 어제보다 사람 2명을 더 만날 거야.
I will meet 2 more people than yesterday tomorrow. A common word that
보다.
is connected to is,
평소.
meaning usual.
나는 평소보다 더 공부하고 있어.
I am studying more than usual. And finally, you can throw some adverbs into the mix if you like.
나는 평소보다 더 열심히 공부하고 있어.
I am studying harder than usual. You can, of course, use
보다.
with verbs to indicate that you do something better worse than somebody else. I play hockey better than my brother, which is true, by the way. Before you learn that, however, you need to know how to use the words,
잘못.
which will be taught in the next lesson. There are 2 more words in particular that you should learn that deal with comparatives.
낫다 better.
There are really 2 ways to say better in Korean. First of all, be aware that better in English is actually just more good, but we don't say that. We just say better. You can use the word
좋다.
good in these situations or
나쁘다.
bad to mean worse.
바나나는 사과보다 더 좋다.
Bananas are better than apples. The thing is, the meaning of this sentence is closer to I like bananas more than apples, and not bananas are better than apples. Usually in Korean, if you want to say better, the word
낫다.
is used. Left single quotation mark.
낫다.
Literally means better, more good, which means that you don't need to put the word
더.
in those sentences.
바나나는 사과보다 나아.
Bananas are better than apples. Note that the
시옷.
irregular applies to
낫다 낫다.
is also very commonly used when you are talking about getting better after being sick. You can say things like this.
병은 나았어.
I'm better. Literally, the sickness disease is better.
감기는 나았어.
My cold is better.
덜 레스 덜.
Has a few meanings, one of which is less as in, the opposite of more.
더.
You can use it just like,
더.
although I feel that,
더.
is used much more frequently than.
덜.
For example, instead of saying, I am less handsome than my brother, It would be more natural to say my brother is more handsome than me. Nonetheless, you can say,
나는 남동생보다 덜 잘생겼어.
I'm less handsome than my brother.
한국에서 대학교는 고등학교보다 덜 어려워요.
In Korea, university is not as hard as high school. One more quick thing, it is kind of funny cute slang to pronounce
덜,
as.
들,
I suggest you try it out sometime. Korean people often get a kick out of foreign people speaking in slang-like language. They usually can't get over the fact that we know Korean, let alone the fact that we know a bit of slang. Korean superlatives.
가장 제일,
Superlatives, just like comparatives, are so much easier in Korean than they are in English. In English, depending on the word you are using, you have to conjugate it differently. She is the hottest girl, she is the most beautiful girl, she is the smelliest girl. In Korean, instead of mucking, I said mucking, around with different forms like in English. All you need to do is add one word.
가장 예쁘다, 프리티 가장 예쁘다, 프리티스트 아름답다, 뷰터풀 가장 아름답다.
Most beautiful, a synonym of
가장,
is,
제일,
which is often used in speech. You can then put these into sentences just like you would normal adjectives.
저의 여자친구는 한국에서 가장 예쁜 여자예요.
My girlfriend is the prettiest girl in Korea.
가족은 가장 중요해요.
Family is the most important. You can't really use
가장,
with verbs unless there is also an adverb included within the sentence. For example, you can't say this.
나는 가장 달려.
I run most doesn't make sense. In these cases, you need to add an adverb to the sentence.
나는 가장 빨리 달려.
I run the fastest.
우리가 집에 제일 늦게 도착했어요.
We arrived home the latest. We were the latest people to arrive at home. However, you can add
가장,
to
좋아하다.
like, without an adverb to indicate that you like something the most. This is also how you say my favorite in Korean.
나는 그 여자를 가장 좋아해.
I like that girl most. That girl is my favorite.
나는 수학을 가장 좋아해.
I like math most. Math is my favorite. Note here that in most real situations it is probably more natural, in English and in Korean, to say something like, I am the fastest runner, instead of, I run the fastest. Math is my favorite subject, instead of, math is my favorite. To this point, you haven't learned how to add this extra dimension to your sentences with verbs. This concept is introduced in Lesson 26. That being said, it is essentially the same as making this change to adjectives.
가족은 가장 중요해요.
Family is the most important.
가족이 가장 중요한 것이에요.
Family is the most important thing. In order to express a negative superlative, of course, you can use a word that has a negative meaning. For example,
저는 사과를 가장 싫어해요.
I dislike apples the most.
저는 사과를 제일 싫어해요.
I dislike apples the most. You could technically add
지 않다.
or
안.
to the sentence to make it a negative superlative sentence. For example,
그 여자는 우리 반에서 가장 예쁘지 않은 여자예요.
that girl is the least pretty in our class.
그 여자는 우리 반에서 제일 예쁘지 않은 여자예요.
That girl is the least pretty in our class.
수학은 가장 쉽지 않아요.
Math is the least easy.
수학은 제일 쉽지 않아요.
Math is the least easy. However, those sentences would sound much more natural in English and Korean if you just used a word with the opposite meaning. For example,
그 여자는 우리 반에서 제일 못생긴 여자예요.
that girl is the ugliest in our class.
수학은 제일 어려워요.
Math is the hardest. In most of these superlative sentences, it would usually sound much more natural to add of all X. For example, of all subjects at school, math is the most difficult of all fruit. I dislike apples the most. The grammatical principle needed to add this extra level of complexity to your sentences is introduced in Lesson 33. Two adverbs that
가장 제일,
are often used with are
잘,
and,
못.
which will be talked about in the next lesson. That's it for this lesson. For more info, please visit howtostudykorean.com.